Hello, my friends. Welcome to Breakfast with Sergio. Let's talk about in this episode on how to manage a job that you may have and also making art. Don't go anywhere. It's going to be great. Well, hello, my friend. Welcome back to Breakfast with Sergio. I'm super excited to be here with you. We are in the second floor of the Jovial Center. And today I really want to talk about this idea of how do you manage when you have a job, either a full-time or a part-time or some other job, something that you have to do, and also making art. Because it could be very challenging, particularly in the world in which we live in today, in which making art is not only the action of making your art, but also marketing and promotion and sales and everything else. Everything takes time. So I think it's a great conversation. What do you think, Sophia? It's a good one?
Yep, I'm excited.
You are excited, absolutely. And this is something that could also help an artist who is an emerging artist or an established artist or a mid-career,
Yeah, because I feel like there's so many, me as an emerging artist, that there's so many jobs that you're starting out, so it's like, what should I do? So
Exactly.
Sergio, what should I do?
What you should do, exactly. And also applies when you're traveling. Sometimes there are seasons in life in which you may be on the road a lot, or maybe you're taking care of a family member who needs your help and whatnot, or maybe the job where you are at right now wants more hours. So that's something that can happen to a lot of you, a lot of us, in different seasons of our career. So this is what I would say. This is the advice that we give, to anyone, and actually many of the artists that I'm coaching right now who have the same problem. The advice that I would give is find a way as you go through a period in your life in which maybe there's not a whole lot of time for you to sit down and have the perfect studio and the perfect setup and the perfect easel and everything great for you just to walk in and work. Find a way in which you can still be productive and even in the circumstance that you're in. For example, I was recently speaking to one of my artists who, the job where she's had is demanding a lot of hours, but she has a 45-minute commute every day to work. So she's using her commute time to make amazing art, and she's creating a beautiful series of works on paper that she can do while she is on the road, while she is traveling. So that's a 45-minute time slot while she's on the train in which something can be done, and she's using her time very productively. And that is again just one example. You can find. Depends on your own schedule and your own time, what kind of works for you. Perhaps getting a small sketchbook that you can take with you, or perhaps, working from your iPad and get one of those really nice apps where you can draw and sketch. So you can use this time, which is very difficult for you, maybe to invest in your studio time, to prepare for future series or explore ideas or read a book. Art related, of course, that's going to help you kind of get ideas, get inspiration. So when the time is ready for you to then access more of your time in your studio, you'll be ready. You will not want to wait, to get to that point. Now, if this is something that's a continuum where, maybe it's a long-term project or a job that you have for who knows how long, and you're going to have it for who knows how long. So then what you want to do is schedule time in your studio. A lot of times, we don't get into the studio when we are through those seasons because we don't schedule it. And I can tell you from experience because, again, when I started my career, I was in the same boat. And, I had to work as a graphic designer for many years. I had to really spend a lot of time commuting, plus I had a family, plus all the things all the responsibilities. Then I started a gallery. So all these things eventually ended up adding a lot on my schedule and had to figure it out. So I had to schedule time in the studio and really treat that time in the studio not as something optional, but if I schedule it, I'm gonna be there. It's like a doctor's appointment, right? You don't want to miss that. So you want to be there. So exactly the same way, treat that time, accordingly in a way that it can happen. And what I found over the years as I went through seasons like that is that as I look into scheduling time in the studio. When I walked into the studio, if I had scheduled just 1 or 2 hours, I want to make sure that I use the best 2 hours I possibly could. I was really serious about the story. In other words, I wouldn't go to the studio and just screw up the time and just watch a Netflix movie, because that was my precious 2 hours that I had assigned for the next 3 days. So that's something that you want to do as you look at managing your job or jobs or projects that you may have, and finding the time for your art career, for your art studio, to figure out what will work for you. Because what works for one artist might not work for another. What works for Sophia might not work for you, and vice versa, right? There's always, the dynamics of where you are in the world, what do you have accessible to you, and the circumstances around you, and accommodate to those. But there should be no excuse. If you're an artist, you should be making art. You should be making art all the time in different ways, and find, even if it's a napkin, right? Even a napkin in a restaurant or a cafe or in your kitchen table, that's enough to make something happen. I'm always inspired by looking at the history of art and looking at artists that have gone through really difficult hardships, war, persecution, famine and things like that, and how they have made it, how they actually found the things that they had at their disposal to make art, in the middle of a war. So, I think we can all learn from that and say, well, what do I have at my disposal, even if it's a pen and pencil and a piece of napkin, and make something out of nowhere, something that wasn't there yesterday, now I can call that art. So I hope this inspires you, my friend. I hope you, use your time wisely. I hope you keep watching Breakfast with Sergio. That's a great way of using your time as well. And if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with all your friends. We'd love to see you there as well in the next episode. So have a great time. Thank you, Sophia. I'm going to get going. Have a great rest of your day.